Well, folks, gather round because today we've got a real gem of human behavior to discuss. Picture this. A world-famous actor, let's call him Chad Vanitysworth, is invited to give a speech at prestigious U. It's the honor of a lifetime for most people. But for Chad? Nah, he's offended. Why? Because they didn't roll out the metaphorical or literal red carpet far enough for his liking. He wanted the highest place, the longest speech, the shiniest spotlight. But when he realized he was just one of several speakers, horrors, he threw a tantrum. Yes, Chad, we know. You're the guy who makes $20 million per movie for pretending to be someone else. Bravo! But let's zoom out. Chad's little meltdown is just a hyper-glamorous version of a very real problem. It's the attitude that says, if I'm not getting the top spot, the most money, the best treatment, then what's the point? You see this everywhere. People refusing to help unless they're paid a king's ransom. Demanding compensation for every second of their time. Treating others like stepping stones instead of, human beings. Now, before you think I'm about to sound like your grumpy old uncle who yells at clouds, let me say this. Valuing your time is good. You've got bills to pay, kids to feed, maybe a Netflix backlog to conquer. Fine. But when everything becomes transactional, when every relationship is a negotiation, and every act of kindness has a price tag, you've lost the plot. Here's the kicker. This mindset is the exact opposite of the biblical approach. Jesus, in Luke 14:7-11, told a parable about people jockeying for the best seats at a feast. Spoiler, he wasn't a fan. His advice? When you are invited, take the lowest place. For all those who exalt themselves will be humbled, and those who humble themselves will be exalted. And it's not just about humility at dinner parties. The Bible is full of examples where God flips the script. David, the youngest and least impressive son, becomes king. Mary, a poor young girl, becomes the mother of God. The cross, an instrument of shame and death, becomes the ultimate symbol of victory and life. Orthodox theology reminds us that grace isn't fair, and thank God for that. It's not a meritocracy where the mighty climb higher and the downtrodden sink lower. No, grace lifts up the humble and brings down the proud. It says, you're not defined by your paycheck, your platform, or your tantrums. In Orthodox worship, we literally bow down before God, acknowledging that we're not the center of the universe. This humility is freeing. It allows us to serve others without worrying about what's in it for me. So here's the good news, my friends. Chad Vanitysworth's meltdown may make headlines, but it doesn't set the standard. God's kingdom doesn't operate on the same currency as Hollywood or Wall Street. Grace turns the world upside down. It's not about getting the best seat or the biggest paycheck. It's about recognizing that everything, even the breath in our lungs, is a gift. If you're downtrodden, grace says, come up higher. If you're mighty, it says, come down lower. That's not fair, but that's the point. So let's skip the tantrums, folks. Instead of fighting for the highest place, let's bow low and watch as grace lifts us higher than we ever imagined. After all, as Chad Vanitysworth might say, do you even know who you are?